Hello and welcome to the Anxious Knitter podcast. My name is Joy and I'm the Anxious Knitter. I'm so anxious that I had to turn the sound notification off on my emails on my phone because just the sound would give me chest pains. Work emails are the worst though, am I right? Anyway, you're here for episode 15. Like I said, my name is Joy, and I'm coming to you from Waterloo, Ontario, Canada, where I live with my husband Luke and our dog Opie. This is a podcast mostly about knitting, but occasionally about crochet, sewing, and whatever other crafty thing catches my fancy at the moment. If you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. I'm happy to see you every single week. And I mean see you metaphorically because obviously I can't really see you. And if you're brand new, just stumbling on my little corner of the internet for the first time, welcome. I hope you find something that you like on my podcast. And if you don't, that's totally cool. There are so many podcasts out here. You'll find the one that's for you. Or the dozen that are for you. Or more. Anyway, yeah. I hope you all had a good week. I had a pretty good week, all things considered. Yeah, I've got some things to show you. Got some whips. Got some cool stuff for you guys. That's right. I have stuff for you, and I will talk about that later on in the episode. I don't have a dweeb story this week. That may be because I didn't really go anywhere in order to be a dweeb. Which is, like, good and bad because, like, on one hand, I didn't embarrass myself in front of people in a public setting, but on the other hand is, like, bad because it means I don't have something to tell you that is dweeby. But, I mean, that's how life goes, I guess. I'll probably finish this podcast and then remember the dumb thing that I did and will simultaneously regret not remembering and be glad that I didn't, to save myself the embarrassment. So anyway, yes, I do have an announcement, so let's go into hear ye, the announcement segment. Just one little thing about the drop spindle thing, because last week I cryptically mentioned that a drop spindle along might be happening. And I can verify for you that it is happening. And I hope that I'm not being, like, super spoilery by saying this, so I apologize to my co-hosts about this if I am, but I'm just really excited about it. But I will be co-hosting a drop spindle along for the early part of summer with Taylor of Wool Needles Hands and Katie of the Arrow Knits podcast. So there will be a promotional video with some information and stuff, more specifics coming up later this week. So yeah, keep an eye out. I think I'm actually wearing the exact same outfit in that video. Oh well. But yes, so that's why you won't be hearing about my drop spindle stuff this week, because I'm just kind of putting that to the side for now until the drop spindle along starts. But yeah, so that's the big announcement for you guys, something to think about, because I know one or two people mentioned that they are interested in that. So yeah, that's it for, I'm really ummy today already. That's kind of annoying. Sorry. Oh god, I just did it again. I'm actually really well rested right now, so there's really no excuse. I didn't even have coffee today. Yeah, let's just skip right along, shall we? Because I have no finished objects, but I do have plenty of works in progress. Yes, okay. Let's just jump right in, shall we? Did I already say that? I don't know. Let's start with a sock. Why not? Let's go, like, and most of my whips are socks. No, half of them are socks. Anyway, so I've been working on my base motel sock for my dad. And I will say I like this so much better than the vanilla sock I already knit. Go figure. Sometimes I really gotta take the long way around a situation. How did that happen? Sorry. I was like, I don't know how this happens, where the thing gets tangled up, because like I don't move the skein of yarn and I just set the thing on top, so I don't know, whatever, you don't care. I barely even care. So I have finished the leg of this ribbed sock, and I've popped in a contrasting heel. Whoop. And you may recognize this yellow yarn as the Indigo Dragonfly Delectable Yellow Dalek colorway that I used in my Pure Joy, because I had quite a bit left. So I'm just doing heels and toes, no cuffs, because I didn't feel like weaving in the extra ends. But yeah, I'm into the foot. All my Chiaogus, 2.25 millimeters, 3x1 rib, super simple. I will say I'm doing the sock a little bit differently, because I feel like this will be faster, and I feel like a lot of you who are sock knitters are probably like, yeah, obviously, Joy, you crazy person. Which is that I'm not counting my rows, I'm counting the inches, which I've never done before. I always count my rows so that I'm knitting it exactly the same the second time around, but then I stress myself out because inevitably you miss a couple rows, or you think that you've done a row but you didn't finish a row, and then you're messed up. So I'm just gonna go by the inches, and I think that this is gonna be good because, like I've said before, my dad and I have very similar sized feet. And because I put the contrasting heel in, it means I'll really easily be able to measure exactly how many inches of the foot I did, and then I can replicate that in future socks. So yeah, I'm hoping this will be at least a hoe by next week so I can show you a finished sock. And I just have my little skeleton key, progress keeper. It's so cute. These are going to become something that I'm not going to say anymore about. Ooh, cryptic. Not really. Yeah, so that's it for that. I'm just using what's left of the skein from before. You know, I am thinking that I'm going to have enough without having to unravel that second sock immediately for my pair of socks, just because I am doing the contrasting heels and toes. So cross your fingers for me, guys. And then, just in case you were wondering, there's the leftovers. It's like a big splooshy, squishy mess in there. But oh, and the Bates Motel yarn is, of course, Legacy Fiber Arts in the Mother's Home colorway on their MCN base. So, love the yarn. I really do. And I'm actually thinking, you know what? I'm going to talk about that a little bit later, because it doesn't matter at this precise moment. Okay, so easy peasy on that sock, right? Let's go on to the next sock. So this is my May sock. I'm hoping I'm going to get them done. I feel like I'm falling behind, but whatever. It's fine. I have finished the leg. And these, the pattern is the Devil's Snare Socks by Erica Luter of Hermione's Everyday Socks fame. Here we go. The lace kind of makes it all wonky looking. So here it is. I'll flip it this way so you can see it the way it would actually look on a person's leg. Yeah, I really, really, really like this pattern. I think I'm probably going to knit it again. Is it as memorizable as the Mercury socks? No. It is a 10-row pattern repeat, but like it's really, really simple. And I've popped in my Fish Lips Kiss heel in the Lichen and Lace Seagrass colorway, and the main color is Knitter Scarlet's yarn, who I have mentioned in the past in her Peach Pie colorway. And you know what I really like, you can see it really well in this, is that, oh, hold on, it's kind of blowing out. There we go. I really like how it's sort of knitting up, like it's reading as stripes, but like really soft, like pretty stripes. And I think it just looks really, really pretty with the green. And I'm really excited for these to be done. I did 6 repeats, so 60 rows for the leg. It's fine if it's not the longest leg, not the end of the world. I just really wanted to get into the heel. Like, I felt like if I kept going as long as I really wanted, these socks would take me flipping forever. But yeah, woohoo! And it's a pretty, I don't know, I feel like the lace is pretty stretchy. So, yeah, I'm really enjoying this pattern. These are I'm calling them, actually, the official name of these socks for me is Professor Sprout's Spring Garden. This is what I'm calling it. And you know what I was thinking as I was knitting these is I was like, maybe next year if I do box of socks again, maybe I'll like challenge myself to only do things that are Harry Potter related. So like whether it's a Harry Potter pattern, a Harry Potter yarn, or just like colors that are inspired by like specific characters or their clothes or scenes or whatever. I just thought that would be fun because I know like Erica Luter obviously has a million of them. Mina Phillip of the Knitting Expat has the Diagon Alley socks. Everybody has like Harry Potter inspired yarn, so like why not, right? It might be fun. And I could do house socks. I could have all 4 house socks. There's a lot of options and I'm really excited about it all of a sudden. But yeah, so these are coming along nicely. I'm hopefully going to get a little bit of work done on the foot today. And if you just want to see the cake, it's pretty. And this is the lichen and lace. And I think these two really pair well together. And like, they're not too significantly different in like thickness either. They just seem to mesh really, really well. And these ones I'm knitting on my Hiya Sharps, and I will say that the Hiya Sharps are just so good for lace socks. Yes, the cord is still driving me up the flipping wall, and I still have to like go and soak it. My whole like project, I just stick it in a mug of boiling hot water to try and relax it a little bit, but it's fine. It's fine. Better than the 40-inch cable, which I will not be using anymore because mysteriously those needles got completely bent out of shape. Which is really annoying because now I'm back down to 2 sock needles. But what are you going to do? That's life. Somebody must have stepped on it or put their feet on it. It was in a bag. I don't know. Anyway, my Devil Snare socks, which I really, really like. And I think they're going to be so pretty when they're done. Yeah. I feel like I'm whipping through stuff. Whipping through the whips. But I feel like a lot of them are things that you've seen a lot. So I don't have like a ton to say. I'm just showing you progress, right? Next is my Exordium shawl by Rebecca Bicot of Fuse Fiber Studio. And it's of course being housed in my Fox bag, which I love. Yes, I'm so close to being done this that like I can taste it. I have 2 more little sections to do. One more little lace section and one more little garter stitch section. So I feel like visually this is not going to look very different from what you saw, but like I feel like I've been knitting on this forever. Ooh, I'm blowing out like crazy. What is this? Light. I don't know. It's overcast today. I don't know, man. Okay, anyway. So here is my beautiful shawl. I don't want to get red lipstick all over it. So, let me find it. So you can see my progress keeper down here. So, oop, this way. No, oh my gosh, it's so confusing. It's so awkward. My bad. I should have just looked down at myself instead of being a total weirdo. So you can see I had started the garter stitch section and I have since finished the last major garter stitch section, which is the Julie Aslin yarn in the Speckle 2 colorway. And I just have put in the setup row for the last lace portion, which is in the contrast color, but oh, look at it. It's so pretty. And it's pretty big. I'm actually really excited to see this blocked out. I think that this is just going to look really, like, I feel like it's just going to loosen up all the garter, and it's just going to have even more, like, lovely drape, and I think the silk is probably going to help with that. But yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to call this my Make It Pink, No Make It Blue shawl. That is a working title, but the concept is there. I know there's yellow in there, but I mean, it's primarily pink and blue. But yeah, I think it's going to be really, really pretty, and I can't wait for it to be done so that I can be wearing it. But you've heard me wax poetic about this pattern. So yeah, I'm really glad I went with these two yarns. I think, sorry, I'm just flip-flopping around so I don't tangle it up or send it flying off the needles. Yeah, you've heard me wax poetic about this shawl because I really like it, and it really is such a nice project to come home to after work in the evening and work on, because it just lets me decompress as I'm working on it without having to, like, tax anything in my brain. Like, it's just a really pleasant experience knitting it. And of course, before I forget, the pink is Manos del Uruguay, Alegria, and I believe the Kaibo colorway. And I'm done with the main color, and this is what I have left. It's about 18 grams according to my scale. So I haven't decided. Actually, no, I have decided. I'm going to put this in my blanket, but I'm going to save it because I want to make a magic cake with what the stuff I have left, because I have a few colors to put in still. Okay, anyway, that's totally off topic. But yes, so I think I will probably have this done by next week. There's a good chance. Or I'll be, like, just about to bind off next week. So hopefully I'll have a finished object for you next week, and it'll be this beautiful shawl. But yeah. I think it would be a great first shawl. I really do. If you haven't gotten into shawls yet, or you haven't gotten into lace yet, I think it's just such a good non-threatening pattern for that kind of thing. Yes, and my last work in progress is very exciting. I started my Sizzle Pop shawl by Leslie Ann Robinson, who's Knit Graffiti, of course, on Instagram. I feel like almost everybody follows her. This has been an experience, okay? So if you'll recall, I have knit 2-color brioche once before. I'm really, like, am I not pale enough, computer, that you have to wash me out even more? Hold on, let me just see if this... I'm like a ghost. Anyway, let me talk about the yarns first, and then I'll talk about the brioche, because the brioche is a thing all on its own, and I'll forget about the yarn. So, these are the 2 colors that I'm using. You may have seen on Instagram. This is the main color. It is Yarn Indulgences in the Cranberry Satin colorway, and this is a 100% merino yarn. This was a one-of-a-kind dye batch, so I don't know that you can get this specific yarn, but I mean, I think she takes custom orders, so if you really, really want it, she might be able to replicate it for you. I don't know. And she probably has something similar in her shop, but it is a really lovely yarn. And then this is Meadowcroft Dye Works, which makes me kind of laugh just because my grandmother lived in a nursing home called Meadowcroft. And I just think that's kind of funny. But anyway, Meadowcroft Dye Works, Rock Shelter, the Rock Shelter base in the Porch Puddle colorway. And this is just, it is a thing of beauty. Oh my gosh. So, I'm really happy with these 2. I started the shawl, and I was a little bit trepidatious about it, because I hadn't knit brioche in a few months. I was worried that I had lost sort of the rhythm of it. But it was coming in pretty good. Like, I did the setup rows and I had no real issues. But anyway, just so you can see what I've done. Oh, look at a little teeny shawl. I'll hold it up a little closer so you can see. You can see the... Oh, I just think these yarns really do look so nice together. But I will say that on the wrong side, although you can really get a sense of the porch puddle colorway, you really can't see the main color at all. Which is fine. But I was kind of hoping to be able to wear this, like, to have it actually be fully reversible like my other one. So I have knit Mina Phillips squishy shawl, which great starting brioche pattern, I would say. Let me tell you a thing, okay? So, lifelines. I learned my lesson knitting the squishy. So, I had put in my lifeline after my first repeat. Was it? Yeah, I think it was the first repeat. Then I started knitting the second repeat, and it was fine. Everything was fine. I got halfway through the repeat, maybe even a little further than halfway through the repeat, and I realized I had forgotten an increase. So I tried to tink back, and it seemed to be going fine. I was tinking back perfectly fine, and I somehow screwed up on the, like, edge purl stitch. I hadn't unpurled it properly, and it was confusing me, and then I tried to just keep going, and it wasn't right, so I had to rip out to my lifeline, and that was upsetting. But it was fine. I reknit that second repeat, and it was fine. Then I put in my lifeline at the end of the second repeat, went on to my third repeat. I was listening to podcasts and stuff. I was like, wow, like, I actually feel really confident about my brioche knitting right now. Like, it's coming to me. I've memorized the decreases. I've memorized the increases. There's only one decrease that I just need to follow along with the one video, which it's, I think, So Sue Knits does an amazing brioche video where she actually covers all the stitches that are used in this particular pattern, not on purpose, but just incidentally. So it's a really great resource, and I'll link it in the show notes, which I will actually put up, hopefully, because I know I didn't put up last week's show notes. I will also do that. I just have to rewatch the episode. But anyway. And then I did something, which was I did a right-leaning decrease instead of a left-leaning decrease. And then I tried to unknit the decrease, and then I got very flustered and confused again. Then I was like, no, I think I did it. I got it. I figured it out. And I kept knitting, and it seemed like all the numbers were working out, and I was like, oh my gosh, I fixed the problem. I did not fix the problem. I then tried to fudge a fix for the problem, and then I just screwed it up even more. So guess what? I had knit almost an entire repeat, and then I had to rip it back again. So last night, I had like all of, like, up to here. Yeah. It was upsetting. I got really upset. And then I was like, you know what? No. I'm just going to put it down before I make any decisions about ripping it out. And I will come back to it. Because I was in a really bad mood. I used some colorful language, okay? Let's just put it that way. And then I read some, like, funny BuzzFeed, like, compilations of tweets or something, and that put me in a good mood. So then I felt okay, and I ripped it all out, and it was fine, and I picked up all my stitches off the lifeline just fine, and now I'm ready to go again, which I will be working on this again today. But guys, let me tell you, put in those lifelines. Even put them in every 5 rows if it makes you feel better, because I'm kind of thinking I might put in like a lifeline halfway through the repeat and then at the end of the repeat, so that if I do screw up, I'm only losing half of what I've knit, as opposed to like having to rip out potentially an entire repeat of the lace section, and it is pretty labor intensive. That being said, I don't think this pattern is actually that complicated, which is funny for me to say because I remember when I saw this pattern, and I know I've mentioned this before, on Pin Feathers and Pearls, I thought, oh, I'm never going to be able to knit that. I'm never going to reach that point, that skill level. Like, I just don't know. I will never be able to do it. But it is doable, guys. It really is. And having that Sosu Knits video up has made like a huge difference. And really, it's just such a well laid out video. Now, couple things I'm going to say for those of you who have either never done brioche. I'm a total noob at brioche too, but like, here's some things that I've learned. Or if you want to knit this shawl but are like hesitant about it. The first thing I will say, if you have never knit brioche, pick 2 completely different solid yarns. I'm serious, okay? Because I did not do that. I picked yarns like this where there's like tonal similarities between the 2 yarns, because obviously, I mean, it looks nice, but sometimes you look at your things and you're like, wait a second, why do my yarn over and the slip stitch and the yarn over in my bark stitch look the same? Like, did I screw up? And it's just because the 2 yarns, you've reached a point where, you know, both of them have mauve in them, or pink, or teal, or whatever, right? And then you confuse yourself. So if you were to say pick like a yellow yarn and a pink yarn that are mostly solid, if not completely solid, you're gonna save yourself a lot of panic, and it will allow you to just look at the stitches for what they are and get into the rhythm that way. And I feel like it'll make it easier to fix problems as well. The other thing for this particular pattern is there's a decrease. It's the most labor intensive part of it. It's the one that runs kind of down here, I believe. Let me see. Yeah, like this decrease. And I'm not really giving anything away because the decrease is in the video, but it requires you to put a stitch onto like a stitch holder or a cable needle. She says a stitch holder or a cable needle. I used 2 different cable needles, and both times my stitch just slid right off. It just went whoop, right off. Now, if you have a really great grippy cable needle, that might not happen to you. What I've been doing is I've been using those little, those like little light bulb shaped, almost like safety pin type stitch markers, and I lock it. So it's going nowhere. And it's not bulky, so when you're doing the rest of your decrease, it just stays there. It's not in your way. And then it's easy to get it back onto the needle to finish the decrease. So that's what I would suggest. I would say definitely use a locking stitch marker, because it's not going to get in your way, and you're not going to lose that stitch. Because I had a number of panic-stricken moments while knitting this where I was just like, oh my gosh, it's gone! But yeah, other than that, I'm really enjoying this. I can't wait to have the finished product. And the pattern calls for a 3.5 millimeter needle. I'm using a 3.25 millimeter needle, and the only reason for that is I don't have a 3.5 millimeter needle at all. My Haya interchangeables didn't come with that. And I couldn't go up to a 3.75 because I'm using that needle for my exordium shawl. So I was like, I'm gonna go down, because like, what's 0.25 of a millimeter difference? I think it's gonna be fine, especially once it's blocked. But I really, really like it, and I'm really excited to keep showing you guys the progress. And I am entering this hopefully in Kristen of Yarngasm's Mauve Along. So yeah, I'm excited to finally have mauve yarn to use for that. So that's motivating me to keep working on it, and hopefully have it done by June 30th, because I believe that's the end date of the mauve along, whatever. the other thing, do I want to say anything else about that before I moved on? Oh, I don't have a bag for that one yet. That's why I need to finish my exordium shawl so I can switcheroo the thing. Anyway. Yes, so that is the Sizzle Pop. I actually bought the whole pop ebook, so it came with a hat and a cowl too. So I thought the hat would be cute. Luke might even want one of those at some point. Ugh, my cowlick is doing stupid things in my hair. I just cut my hair the other night. I cut it myself, because that's what I do. Anyway. That is the end of my works in progress. I think I babbled enough about Sizzle Pop. So, other than the pattern collection I just told you about, I have not purchased anything for knitting in the past week, but I did receive some happy mail. Yes, and it is not just happy mail for me, it's happy mail for you too. Aren't you excited to hear that? And there is actually a little something for all of you. Every single one of you. Yes, so I was contacted by the lovely Carol of Wild Happy Color. Let me just put my show notes over here. And she asked if I'd like to pick out a colorway. And of course I was like, that is lovely and your yarn is beautiful. So yes, please, that's amazing of you. Oh, he's got an opinion about it too, apparently. So anyway, she sent along a second skein for you guys for a giveaway or for a Cal prize or something. So I'm sorry for the crinkling because I left them in the packages for now. She sent me these two skeins. I just want to make sure I get her logo because her logo is so cute. All right, so this one is Tuscany Afternoon, and this one is Bali. And it comes with they each come with a little stitch marker. So this one has a little maple leaf. Can I get it to not be too shiny? And this one has a little sheep on it. I think, is it double-sided? Oh, it is! And then on the other side, there's a little sheep bum. Oh my gosh, that's so cute. I didn't even notice that until now. Yeah, so it was funny because I had picked for myself the Bali skein, but then this came and I was like, oh, that orange, that gray though. So I think I'm actually going to give away the Bali skein because I think that this is going to be perfect for like a summer prize because it's called Bali and it looks like a beach. Does it not look like the beach? And like, I'm not going to open this, but I opened it myself, but then I carefully put everything back inside, okay, full disclosure. But I just kind of like peeked through. Oh, you can get a little sense of it here, but there's some really beautiful like rich turquoises, and it's just, and the speckles are so pretty, like unexpected too. Like there's like a little bit of like yellow and a little bit of purple, that rusty color, and I just think it's so cute. And I love on her packaging, she has toss kindness around, like confetti written around, which I just think is so cute. I love her logo. And it's on her authentic base, which is an 80/20 superwash merino nylon, 400 yards for 100 grams, and 2-ply. So this is going to be a prize for something, possibly a knit along, possibly a spin along, or just a summer giveaway maybe. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm going to keep this, the Tuscany Afternoon. I also figured, I had bought a lot of blue. I'm sorry if the crinkling is really, really annoying. I bought a lot of blue at the Knitter's Frolic, so I thought this would be, words coming out of my mouth. This would be really just useful. Okay. So just so you can see the yarn, this yarn up close anyway. Oh god. And I can attest to the fact that this yarn is so soft and squishy and will make the most delightful pair of socks. I actually think I'm going to knit these into a pair, of Hermione's Everyday Socks instead of the the Bates yarn. And I'm going to do a really poor job of putting this back together. I'll probably just reskein it entirely after this is done. Yeah, I'm going to do Hermione's Everyday Socks with this, because I just think this is... Oh my gosh, did you see that? Whoa, look at that. Oh, I didn't even notice that before. That's amazing. And if you want to see her card and the little sheep stitch marker up close. Oh, there we go. So cute. Yes, so not only does she donate kindly that extra skein of yarn for a prize, she's also offering everybody who watches the podcast 10% off of their purchase in her shop. And the code is ThankYou10. Yes. So head on over to her shop. I will make sure that I link that in the show notes that I will actually make. But otherwise, just look up Wild Happy Color on Etsy. And get yourself a beautiful skein of sock yarn. She has so many beautiful colorways. She has this one really pretty, like, soft, speckled, like, colorful, like, it has, like, colorful speckles, but not, like, sparkles, called Chasing Fairies. That is also very, very cute. Yeah, and I will be keeping this safe for whoever is going to win that in the future. So that's really exciting. Let me just put all this stuff on the floor because my floor is covered in trash because I'm a slob. Yes, so I also got one more package, which I'm also very excited about. You may have seen this on Instagram. I posted it yesterday. Actually, wait. There's one more thing I wanted to say about Wild Happy Color, which is, Carol has a sweet, adorable poochie named Willa who has recently had a not-so-great diagnosis from the vet. So if you guys could all just send her a little bit of positivity and just think good thoughts for her and her pooch, that would be really great, because I know how hard it is to have dogs that you love, they're part of your family, and then to get something like that. I mean, we had a dog who had prostate cancer. We had a dog who at the age of 10 had a stroke, a really bad stroke, and it's really hard. So if you could just send her a little love, I would really appreciate that, and I'm sure she would appreciate that too, and so would her little puppy. All right? Yes, so let's get to the rest of the Happy Mail, shall we? So you guys have heard me talk about Rebecca, obviously, of Fuse Fiber Studio, because I'm knitting her shawl, because she generously gifted a copy of her pattern and 2 skeins of her yarn for the giveaway last week. And as a thank you, she offered to send me some yarn, and honestly, it was the most unexpected package. She'd asked if there were any colors that I liked, so I pointed out a few that I liked, and she sent me all 3. Oh my gosh. I kid you not, every time that I have received a package in the mail, every time I ever do, but like with yarn especially, I will not lie to you, I pick it up and I literally am just in the apartment by myself going, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. That's not even an exaggeration. I actually did that yesterday. Oh, Opie, you gonna come join us? Come here. What's this? What's this over here? Oh, what's this? Sometimes that gets him. But, not today. Are you gonna come and join us? Come say hi. Don't you wanna come say hi? Come here. Come here. You can't even see him. Come here, come on. Yeah, everybody wants to say hi to you. Okay, well, anyway, he's just standing there like a creep. He's just taking like little steps forward. And he's leaving. Okay. Anyway, So let me show you what she sent because it's absolutely stunning. So she sent me these 3 skeins of yarn. I know. They're so pretty. Like, and all 3 of them together are pretty. But like, oh my gosh, it was too much. I literally lost my mind temporarily while I was looking at them. So let me just like tell you about them. So this, oh wait, before I tell you about them, look at her. So her tag, and she has these little like star charm like stitch markers on all of them, and it's so pretty. Anyway, this colorway is called Map of the World, and it's a 75/25 BFL nylon, and it is just so pretty, and it also has 464 yards per 100 grams, which is like a lot of yards. And I don't know exactly what I'm going to knit with this, but if I do decide to do socks with it, I know that I'm going to do that, I think it's called like By the Seine or On the Seine. I just thought that would be fitting because, you know, France, map of the world. Yeah, but oh, look at the speckles on this yarn, guys. Go and get yourself some. I've worked with BFL only one time before. It was the first indie dyed yarn actually I ever bought from Flock Fiber. And I do really like it. And I think it'll be just nice, a nice change from merino, because obviously 99% of what I knit with is merino. But yeah, that's Map of the World. Then she sent me, and y'all know how I love singles, okay? 2 skeins of her merino singles, which are 400 yards per 100 grams, 100% superwash merino. This is the apiary colorway, and this is the blossom colorway. So here, let me give you some close-ups. Oh gosh. Again, look at the speckles. Look how dynamic that is. Man, okay. And then here's Blossom, which just has these lovely little touches of spring green and some blue in there. So now that I have these, I think I've changed my mind again about my exploration station, which is, I think I'm going to do these. Oh, sorry, I feel like my hand's totally covering up because this Hedgehog Fibers is so I think this is what I'm going to do, because I think the coppery tones in the cove, the Madeline Tosh Cove, are really picking up nicely in the apiary. There's little bits of blue that goes in with Cove in the Blossom, and then like, I mean, the brown, I just always like brown. I always wanted the brown as the outlining color. So I think this is now what I'm for sure going to do for my exploration station. I'm really happy about that. Yeah, so that was so kind and generous. Thank you so much, Rebecca. Just know that I'm like absolutely treasuring this, and thank you, Carol, for your lovely yarn, your lovely donation to the podcast. I can't wait. Like, she said that I could keep both of those skeins, but I know that I have to give one away because it really is a deliciously and my friend Elaine is probably like, ew, why did you say delicious? It's yarn. She's watching this. But it really is just like a lovely soft yarn. I can't wait. They're going to be my next socks, I think, after I finish my May socks. So yeah, that was super exciting. I hope you guys find something at Wild Happy Color that you like, because I think there's really something for everybody. Yes, and actually, while we're on the topic of the exploration station, I did have... Okay, wait. I'm going to start a new segment, okay, for the first time ever. And it is called Get Nosy. Yes, so I have an Ask Me Anything thread in the Ravelry group called Get Nosy, where you can ask me anything you want. And I did have a couple of things, and one of them is about the exploration station. let me just get up the group so I can just make sure that I'm getting everything. So, on the subject of the exploration station, Cass Loves to Knit on Ravelry said that she says, anyways, in your last episode, you mentioned you wanted to purchase yarn at the Knitter's Frolic for an exploration station shawl. I also want to knit one, although the 2-color brioche scares me. I think you should host a Cal for this shawl. No pressure. Looking forward to your next podcast. And she also said that she saw me at the Knitter's Frolic, but was too shy to say hi. And that's okay. I totally get that. Hello. Yeah, so I actually think this is a great idea. And don't worry, Cass. I feel like the 2-color brioche in the exploration station is going to be the least scary brioche that you can do, because it is only a portion of the shawl. So I think it's actually probably a really good place to start for 2-color brioche. I think Kristen of Yarngasm, that was the first time she did 2-color brioche. So there's something. But yeah, so if you guys are interested in knitting an exploration station, I would be more than happy to host an exploration station knit along this summer. Or it doesn't even have to just be an exploration station knit along. It could be a Stephen West knit along. If there's, because obviously he has tons of really cool patterns with really fun constructions. So we could do a Stephen West along. We could do a 2-color brioche along. We could do a stretching your wings knit along, like where you're trying to do something you've never done before. Although I don't know that, I think I've done everything. I haven't done his type of short row, but anyway, I think an exploration station knit along or a Stephen West along would be really fun. So if you think that would be fun, let me know in the comments or give me a thumbs up to be like, yes, let's do that. It would be later in the summer, probably like July, August, but yeah, I think that would be a lot of fun, and thank you for the suggestion. I probably wouldn't have thought of it. And I also had one other little question, which from Little C835, which was random, but what are your favorite foods? Sounds like we have sushi as one in common. Yeah, I love sushi. I would eat sushi any day of the week if it was offered to me, and if I don't know what to eat, we don't know what to eat for dinner, we'll usually get sushi. But yeah, so other favorite foods. I have a thing, I don't do very well with really flavorful foods. So it's funny because I am half Italian, half German, and everybody loves Italian food. And I like Italian food, but I find that a lot of the seasonings can become overwhelming. I like my mom's cooking. My mom is actually the German, but she does really great Italian. And I like my grandmother's cooking, but I don't typically like eating Italian out. But I love German food. And German food, people always find bland, but I flippin' love German food. Give me the schnitzel with lemon. I don't even eat sauces. Just give me the schnitzel with lemon. Give me spätzle. Give me, the potatoes. I don't know. I love German food. So if you said, your first favorite food, I'd probably err on the side of sushi, but, also schnitzel and spätzle are, a combination for my heart. I also really like, which is funny, I really like some butter chicken. Again, I can't be too spicy. I can't do spice. So, we have a very specific butter chicken sauce that we get when we make it. Pizza. But only sometimes, and not all pizza. I have to really be in the mood for pizza. I feel like I'm missing something really significant. Oh, in terms of, dessert foods, I love a donut, especially a cronut, which is a cross between a croissant and a donut, if you don't know. And if you are just learning of this for the first time, go and find a cronut now. Stop watching, go and find a cronut. And creme brulee is my other favorite. So yeah, I love food. Okay, so that, guys, is going to be it for the knitting portion of the podcast. This got really long. What was I talking about forever? The sizzle pop. Yeah, so if that's all you came for, it was nice talking to you, and I will see you next week. I hope you have a great rest of your week and a wonderful weekend. And if not, and you're going to stick around for my last segment, that would be my life, etc. Don't have a ton to talk about here because, like I said, I didn't really do a whole lot. We are into production week for Peter Rabbit now, so we've just moved in all of our sets and stuff, and I had yesterday and today off, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I will be in theater, so I'll be doing dress rehearsals and performing, which is very exciting. Performing in a barn comes with its own set of challenges, of course. But I think it's going to be good, and I have some people coming to see it, which is nice. And yeah, I'm really excited. I'm excited for it to be done simply just because I'm just ready for my season to be over and for it to be summer. Not for, like, I don't know. I just need to take a break. I've been going pretty hard this year. I wanted to talk about a few podcasts that I've been watching, just to spread a little podcast love. So the first person is Katie of Arrownits, who I mentioned for the Drop Spindle Along. Her podcast is pretty new, but it's a lot of fun, and she has a really cool style, and I like her color sense, and she's a lot of fun. I can attest to that from the Instagram direct messaging that's been happening about the Drop Spindle Along. So go and check out the Arrownits podcast. And the other one I want to mention is Shelby of the Defiant Knitter podcast, which is another one that's very new. I think she has 3 episodes out now. And it's a really lovely, very honest podcast. She talks a lot about, there is a really aggressive crow in the tree outside my window right now. Sorry, Shelby. What I was going to say is that not only is her knitting great, but I really like how honest she is about mental health and, you know, her life, and this idea of being unapologetically herself. So go and check those out, and of course I will... Oh my gosh, my hair! I'm sorry. Go and check those podcasts out because they're really good. And the other podcast I want to talk about, which is not knitting related, but which I'm sure many of you have heard of, I know Katie of Inside 23 has been talking about it, which is My Favorite Murder. So I've said in the past that I really enjoyed true crime, and the book that I wrote is very much inspired by that. And I've been hearing about My Favorite Murder, not really, I don't know why I never just sat down and listened to it, but I did, and like I can say, like yesterday I listened to like 3 or 4 consecutive episodes. It is so funny. Like, they're so funny, and I mean, not great if you don't like listening to swearing, because they do swear quite a bit. Also not great if you don't like hearing about violent crime. But I really enjoy it, and it's just been very interesting. And like, it's funny because they set it up in a way that does not make me anxious, really. Like, maybe it's just because they're anxious and they talk about that, and I just feel like they're in my brain, because people don't get it, right? They don't... If you like true crime, people who don't like true crime don't understand how you could like true crime, if that makes any sense. But they get it, and I think that's one of the reasons why I really like them, and I have such an affinity for them. So yeah, if you haven't checked it out, if you're like me and you're like super late to the party, go and check out My Favorite Murder. What did I do with my notebook? Oh, was there anything else? No, that was it. Okay, so I'm gonna leave it here. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. If you would like to find me on elsewhere on the internet, you can find me on Ravelry as dabblejoy, and you can find me on Instagram, where I am the most active, as Rhineland Story. And yeah, as always, that information will be in the description box below. So, yes. Have a good weekend, guys. Happy knitting. Happy living. Over and out.